So welcome back friends. Today we will learn about threads, how to define threads, what are the states in threads, and how to run threads. Okay. So let's talk about defining threads. So there are two ways in which we can create new threads. Okay. First one is thread class. So this is the first way you can extend the thread class and create a thread. And the second one is by implementing interface. Okay, so these are the two ways in which you can create a thread, and this runnable interface is already implemented by the thread class, but these are the two approaches that you can take. Okay, so we will see about this in a more code example as well. So first let's see that. Okay, so this is the first way. So friends, you can see this is the first way of creating a thread. Here what we have done, we have simply extended the thread class and we have overridden this run method which is present in the thread class. If we see, this thread already implements runnable. Okay, and runnable method interface has this run method. Okay, so this is a semantic thing, but whenever you want to create a thread, you have to extend the thread class and override the run method as well. So whatever you write, the lines of code you write in this, you write here, it will run in a new thread. It will not run in the thread from which it is being called. Okay, so this is the first way of creating the thread. Let's test it as well. So here, what we are doing, we have created our my thread class here, and here in this thread example, we are simply creating an object, and when we don't call run method here. Okay, if we will call run method, a new thread will not start. You should remember, you need to call the start method, and which will eventually call the run method in a new thread. Okay, so if we run this, we can see that the print that we had given here is printing, and if we give a new print here, and if we say here original thread, okay, and this is the sysout that we have given here. What we are doing here, we are printing the current thread name, and let's print the thread name here as well. Maybe let's copy this and paste it, and let's here say original thread. Okay, now if we run, we can see original thread name is main, so it is printing this using this thread.current thread.name. It is printing the original thread name, which is main in this case. So this is our main method. So this creates the main thread of your application. This is the main daemon thread. If so this is for that, and this one is for the thread name that we have a new thread that is getting started from this run method, and thread 0 is being print here. Okay, so this is for that one. So this is the first way of running it, and you can see the ordering is not fixed. If I run it many times, sometime our thread is getting executed first, and sometime and the main thread is getting executed later. This sprint method in the main thread is getting executed later. Sometimes it is reverse, because there is no ordering in threads. Both are running parallelly. CPU can pick any one of them and execute first. Okay, so there is a randomness in multi-threading. Okay, so now let's see the second way of creating a thread. For in this second way, what we are doing, we have simply implemented a runnable interface, and this also forces us to override the run method. Okay, so this we can maybe, let's simplify this for the time being. Instead of all this, let's simplify this code. So again, we are printing the name here, and then if we try to test this, now what we will do is, let's comment these lines. Okay, and we will first create a runnable. So we are creating a runnable object, my runnable, which, so our my runnable implements the runnable interface, and then we need to pass this runnable in a new thread object. Okay, and then we can start this thread.start. Okay, so this will also print, this is our main, and here also we will see the same randomness. Times main will get print first, sometime it will get printed later, so that randomness will always be there. Okay, because it is multi-threaded, both are running in parallel. CPU can execute the instructions in any one of them at any particular time. Okay, now let's learn about thread states. Okay, so let's learn about thread. Okay, so whenever you create a thread, first of all it enters in the new state. Okay, so this means the thread is created but it has not started yet. Created but not started. Okay, then is runnable. So as soon as you call the start method on the thread, it enters from new into runnable. Okay, so it means now this means that the thread is ready to run. So there are many threads ready to run. CPU will pick any one of them and execute it, and then maybe not execute it fully, move it back to runnable, pick another one, execute it a little bit, and again move it to runnable, or pick another one and execute it fully, and then pick the other one which are in runnable state. So the thread comes from runnable to running to runnable to and fro. Third is running. This is where the thread is exactly executing. So a thread goes from runnable to runnable to and fro many times before it gets completed. Okay. When it gets completed, then it is in the terminated state, which means all the instructions or all the lines of code that you had written in your run method, all that has completed successfully. Now from terminated, it cannot go back to any of these states. This is not possible. You will have to create a new thread object. Once you call start and it has executed, you cannot call start again on that thread. Okay, it will throw you an exception. It will not allow you to do it. Okay, so these were the commonly used states. There are two states in between as well. So one is waiting. This means that it is waiting for another thread to complete an action. Okay, we will see about this in more detail. So there is a waiting state. If your thread goes into waiting state, another thread needs to inform that hello thread, you have waited enough. Now come back from the waiting state back to the runnable state. Okay, so until another thread comes and tells it, hello my thread friend, you have waited long, now come back. Until the other thread comes and says this thread will continue to remain in the waiting state. We will talk about this when we understand locks, synchronizations and locks in Java. But until unless you can simply understand it is a waiting state. A thread is waiting. Someone needs to tell this thread to come back to the runnable state. Okay. Now there is an extension of this waiting which is timed waiting. In this state also the thread is waiting, but a fixed amount of time only. It is only waiting for a fixed amount of time. Okay, then it will automatically go back to runnable state. Okay, so these are the common states in Java. We will understand them more when we understand synchronization and locking. But yeah, these are the common states in Java. So this is a code example also showing you the thread states. We have modified this my runnable run method as well. What we have done is we have simply added a sleep method so that it takes some time. What sleep does, we will explain later. But basically, it simulates some extra processing, or it makes the currently executing thread sleep for a while. Okay, or your program to sleep for a while. Okay, so here in this example, if I start a debugger, here you can see I have created the thread object using a runnable. So currently, I have just created the thread. Okay, and if I do this thread.get state and I'm printing this state, it is printing as new. This is the state. Now if I call thread.start and I again try to print the state, now it is printing, you can see that it is printing runnable. Let's execute this once more. So we can see that this time it has printed runnable. Why it has printed runnable? Because we have called the start method. We have called this start method. Because of this, it has printed runnable. Okay. Now, if I move it to this second print is getting print from inside this. Here again, we are printing the state. So again, it is printing runnable. Then, I have called a sleep method. Because I called the sleep method, it is waiting. It has went into a waiting state. That is why it is printing the state as timed waiting. We can see that is why it is printing as time waiting. And then if I call join, it will bundle this thread at the end of the currently executing thread, which is the main thread which we have started with the main method. Okay, so we can check that as well. If we just evaluate this expression, we can see the ID of this thread get, instead of get state, if we do get name, we can see this is the main method. Okay, so what this code will do is it will join this thread at the end of the main thread. Okay, so after this, if we again print the state, it is showing terminated. Why is it showing terminated? Because whatever was there in this thread, only 3 instructions were there. Catch will not get executed because we don't have any exception. So after all the instructions of your run method execute, then the state of the thread will finally move to terminated state, and it cannot never come back to the started or runnable or running state, whatever state. Okay, so this is how the progression of thread states happen.